You walk into a room. Some men immediately respect you. They listen when you speak. They move when you move. Others, they test you. They interrupt. They try to put you down. The difference? It's not random. There are 5 silent moves that decide whether people respect you or test you before you even speak. And if you do this, people feel your presence the moment you enter. Let me show you what this is. These aren't tricks. These aren't mind games. These are the silent behaviors that the most respected men use naturally, whether they realize it or not. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why some men walk into a room and immediately own it, while others get ignored or tested. I'm going to break down all 5 moves, but move number 3, that's the one most men get completely backwards. And once you fix it, everything changes. Let's get into it. Power move number 1, controlled stillness. Most men think presence means being loud, animated, taking up space. But here's what actually happens. When you move less, people pay more attention to when you do move. Think about it. Watch 2 men in a negotiation. One is gesturing constantly, shifting in his chair, nodding along to everything. The other, completely still, posture solid, only moves when he has something to say. Who do you take seriously? The still one, every time. Because excessive movement signals nervousness. It says, I need your approval. I'm trying to fill space because I'm uncomfortable. Stillness says, I don't need to perform. I'm comfortable here. Here's how you use this. When you're in a conversation, slow down your movements. Don't fidget. Don't nod constantly. Don't gesture unless it adds weight to what you're saying. Just be still, grounded, present, and watch what happens. People will lean in closer. They'll listen harder because your stillness makes your words carry more weight. This is the first move, controlled stillness. Use it. Power move number 2. And this one's subtle, but once you see it, you'll notice it everywhere. The 2-second pause. Here's what most men do. Someone asks them a question and they answer immediately, fast, like they're trying to prove they're smart. But you know what that signals? Eagerness, approval seeking. Please validate me. Now watch what respected men do. Someone asks a question. They pause. 2 seconds. They think, then they speak. Why does this work? Because the pause does 2 things. 1, it shows you're not reactive. You're not desperate to fill silence. You're comfortable letting a moment breathe. 2, it makes people wait for your answer. And when people wait, they value what comes next more. Think about it. If someone throws you a question and you fire back instantly, your answer feels cheap, easy. But if you pause, think, then respond, suddenly your answer carries weight. People listen. Here's how you use this. Next conversation you're in, someone asks you something. Don't answer immediately. Take a breath. 2 seconds, then speak. You'll feel the shift. The room will lean in because silence before you speak, that's not hesitation, that's control. All right, power move number 3. And this is the one I mentioned earlier, the one most men completely mess up. Don't explain yourself. Now hear me out. I'm not saying be rude. I'm not saying refuse to communicate. What I'm saying is stop over-justifying your decisions. Here's what weak men do. They make a choice and then immediately start explaining why they made it. Unprompted, defensive. I'm leaving early today because I have this thing and it's important and I wouldn't normally do this, but you know what that signals? Guilt, insecurity. Please don't be mad at me. Now here's what respected men do. They make a decision and they let it stand. I'm leaving today. That's it. No justification, no apology, just a statement. Why does this work? Because when you over-explain, you're asking for permission. You're saying, is this okay? Do you approve? But when you don't explain, you're signaling, I've made my decision. It's not up for debate. And people respect that. Even if they don't like your choice, they respect that you own it. Now, important caveat, if someone asks why you made a decision, you explain, of course. That's communication. But don't explain unprompted. Don't justify yourself before anyone even questions you. Because that's insecurity showing. Here's how you use this. Next time you make a decision, anything, leaving early, saying no to plans, choosing what to order, state it and stop. Don't add because unless someone specifically asks, just let it stand. You'll feel uncomfortable at first, but watch what happens. People will respect your decisions more because you respect them yourself. By the way, if this concept of silent power is clicking for you, there's a book that goes way deeper into these dynamics. It's called The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. A lot of people judge the title, but what it actually does is break down the real psychology behind why certain people naturally command respect in any room they're in. I left the link in the description. It's not for everyone, but if you're serious about understanding how power and respect actually work, not how they're supposed to work, but how they do work, it's one of the most honest books you'll ever read. All right, move number 4. Power move number 4. Walk slower. I know how this sounds. But stick with me. Most men walk like they're in a rush, fast, urgent, like they're late to something important. You know what that signals? Anxiety. I don't belong here. I need to get where I'm going before someone notices. But watch how powerful men move through a room. Slow, deliberate, like they own the space. Because here's the thing, your walking speed communicates your internal state. If you walk fast, people assume you're nervous, trying to avoid attention, uncomfortable being seen. But if you walk slow, people assume you're calm, confident. You have nothing to prove. Here's the science behind this. Fast movement triggers a subconscious prey response. It signals flight. I need to get out of here. Slow movement signals predator energy. I'm not running, I'm surveying. And people respond to that. They notice you, they give you space, they wait for you. Now, I'm not saying walk so slow you're weird. I'm saying walk 20% slower than you think you should, especially when you enter a room, especially when you're walking towards someone or something important. Slow, grounded, like you have all the time in the world. Here's how you use this. Next time you walk into a meeting, a party, a restaurant, slow down, just 20%. Don't rush, don't hurry. Walk like you own the room, even if you don't. And watch what happens. People will treat you differently because your body language is saying, I belong here, I'm not in a rush, and they'll believe it. Power move number 5, and this is the most uncomfortable one, but it's also the most powerful. Make eye contact 1 second longer than feels comfortable. Here's what most men do. They make eye contact for a moment, then look away, fast. Why? Because eye contact feels intense, vulnerable, like you're exposing something. So they break it, they look down, they glance away. And you know what that signals? Submission. I don't want confrontation, I'm backing down. Now watch what dominant men do. They hold eye contact 1 second longer, just past the point where it starts to feel uncomfortable. And then, and this is key, they're the ones who break it on their terms. Why does this work? Because eye contact is a subtle dominance test. It's a nonverbal question. Who's more comfortable here? And whoever breaks first, that's who submitted. Now, important, this isn't about staring people down like a psycho. It's not about making people uncomfortable. It's about not being the first one to look away. When you're talking to someone, hold eye contact, even when it starts to feel a little intense. Stay there 1 more second. Then you break it, casually, on your terms. Here's what happens when you do this. People respect you more immediately because you didn't flinch. They might not even consciously realize it, but subconsciously, their brain registered, this person is comfortable with intensity. This person doesn't submit. And that changes the dynamic. Now, one more thing. This move works differently with different people. With someone you're meeting for the first time, 1 second longer builds respect. With someone you're attracted to, 1 second longer builds tension, sexual tension. With someone trying to intimidate you, 1 second longer shows you're not scared. Same move, different contexts, powerful every time. Here's how you use this. Next conversation you're in, when you make eye contact, don't be the first one to look away. Stay there 1 more second than feels natural. Then you break it, casually, on your terms. You feel the shift, the dynamic changes. You're not submitting anymore, you're holding your ground. All right, let's bring this together. 5 silent power moves that make people respect you instantly. 1. Controlled stillness. Move less, your movements carry more weight. 2. The 2-second pause. Don't answer immediately, let silence sit. 3. Don't explain yourself. State your decision, let it stand. 4. Walk slower, 20% slower than you think you should. 5. Hold eye contact 1 second longer. Don't be the first to break. Now here's the thing. These moves aren't about faking confidence. They're not tricks. They're about aligning your body language with the person you actually are. Because if you're a man who respects himself, who makes decisions and owns them, your body should reflect that. And when it does, people feel it. Not because you're trying to dominate them, but because you're no longer trying to shrink. You're just standing in your own power, silently. And people respect that. Look, you don't have to use all 5 of these tomorrow. Start with 1. Pick the move that resonated most. Maybe it's the stillness. Maybe it's the pause. Maybe it's not over-explaining. Try it in one conversation. See what happens. And then, if it works, add another and another. Because the truth is, most men aren't taught this stuff. They're told to be nice, to be accommodating, to shrink so other people feel comfortable. But respect doesn't come from shrinking. It comes from presence. And presence
That's what these 5 moves give you. If this helped you, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want more content like this. And if you're ready to go deeper, seriously deeper into how power and respect actually work, check out the 48 Laws of Power in the description. It's the book I wish I'd read 10 years ago. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself, and remember, presence isn't loud, it's silent.